Welcome to Hardware Learning, where we look stupid so you do not have to. And today we are installing lowering springs on the GTI. We got her jacked up on all four corners. Got our wheels underneath there, even though we're probably not going to have to actually go under the car, but just a safety precaution. We have the 034 Dynamic Plus lowering springs. Should drop it like an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, somewhere in there. But this will be a lot like what we did on the RS3. We will remove this bolt right here for the sway bar end link. We will remove the lower bolt that clamps the bottom of the strut assembly to the steering knuckle or arm or whatever. And then I believe we will have to hit up the triple squares on the drive shaft back there and remove those. And then hit up the top here, which everyone seems to just pull this beast up no problem. Hit the bolts on the top there. And then the back, we'll do the back, which is way easier because it's just drop the control arm and the sway bar and you got a new spring. So we'll get cracking on this boy.
So we heard some clunking on the front of the car.
We're getting passed by the sheriff.
Oh yeah!
That's funny.
Alright, so that end link bolt or nut rather, is 18 millimeter. We'll blast that off with the impact here. Nice and easy does it. Push that out of the way. We'll put our nut back on there just for posterity's sake. And then we've got triple square. And another, what feels like an 18 for the suspension clamp. A 14 triple square. So we're gonna see if we can crack her. Oh man, that is tight. Oh, gotta love impacts. Gotta love the good old Impactorino, if you know what I'm. So now I bought a special bit for separating our shock. Link in description. I'm gonna have to adapt it because it's a 1/2 inch. Oh, where is my adapter? Okay, now we wedge this between the shock. So in reviewing the footage, I didn't get a clear shot of where you want to spread the shock, but basically after you remove this bolt and you remove the end link, you will spread the shock back here where the two pieces of the upright meet. Easier said than done, I guess. This adapter is not. Still have a 1/2 inch pry bar. So according to Shop DAP guy, we have to remove the bolts on a drive shaft, even though the shot of him removing this and dropping it down, it looked like there were bolts still in there. But if you want to remove them, they are a triple square 10 millimeter. So I got an extension on here. I'm gonna slip a large screwdriver in here so the rotor is locked. Or else the drive shaft will just continue to spin as you try to remove those bolts. Now that that's loose, We got the drive shaft bolts out. This should give us more wrangling room, but I might drop these bolts off the bottom of the arm. Okay, so it really is a matter of making sure you have this wedged while you try to push it down. Now I think my actual wedge is in the way of the little... There's like a little blade on the bottom of the strut that's now hitting my wedge. So I gotta get my wedge out. All right. Hard part aardvark is over. Holy cow, there is a lot of that shock in the bottom of there. That is crazy. All right, well, we'll leave that loose. And we'll come up top and remove the top bolts. All right, so since this is all one piece, there was a little slotted clip down here, and over here. If you wanted to take this all off, it looks like you'd have to remove the wiper. So I'm just gonna sneak a ratchet under here, and slowly I'll take all these out. I'll take 2 off and then drop the 3rd one, and hopefully that lower arm and everything isn't gonna just totally collapse on me. Maybe I'll put the jack under it actually. All right, so these top bolts are 13 millimeter. Now, we should be able to pull this guy out of here, just like so. All right, so now that we have the strut out, we are going to do the spring compressor move on them to get the old out of here. The new one's on, okay? Now I think we need a 21. There she goes. Pull the sleeve out. Probably want to keep our bump stops on, huh? And then pull the spring out. And grab our 234 Dynamic Plus ripper nose. That goes like this, right? There it is. Press this guy down. Put our sleeve thingamajig on. You need to compress them to get them on. That's kind of nice. Buzz this guy on with the old 21er. All right, so to get that shock seated again, I tightened it from the top, and then I used the jack to basically preload the shock. I had it already kind of lined up here, and then I used my pry bar. As it was preloaded, I'd pull on the pry bar to expand the clamp here, and it would slowly kind of work its way up. I believe it's all the way up now, so I'm gonna reattach that bolt. This bolt, the drive shaft as well is gonna need to be rebolted. And then we'll do the rears. Well, I gotta do the other side too, but you know. So one thing I learned while doing the passenger side is, geez, you can't see anything over here, can you? I only completely removed 2 of the drive shaft bolts, but I did loosen all of them. That just helped me get those bolts back in without removing it completely. So it's easier to line up because there's still a couple bolts hanging on. Basically getting as close to being able to remove the bottom of that shock. It was just a huge pain trying to get that drive shaft reconnected on the other side, so I didn't want to take it completely off. Next thing is doing the spreading this. If you do have something, it's really important that you spread it with something that will stick in there, that will like spread and stay, so that gives you your like freedom to wiggle the rotor back and forth. Other than that, this side went a little quicker, but now we're gonna do the rear. All right, so the rear is about a billion times easier. We have an 18 here, and then these two 18s, I guess. 18 here, and link, which is maybe like a 12. 13. Sway bar and link is a 13. Alright, and we'll add a little preload to get those bolts out, maybe. Really confused why my car has a ride height sensor in the rear when it doesn't have DCC, dynamic chassis control. Okay, one left. This stubborn guy over here, huh? Wanna fight? Is that what you wanna do? So there's two T25s connecting this ride height sensor back here. Beyond me why I have that. Front didn't have ride height sensors, and this car doesn't have dynamic chassis control. So I'm just taking these two T25s off of this arm so that arm can swing freely without pulling on that guy. Oh. Now, that's free. That's free. Okay. Take that off. Put on our new spring. Now we gotta figure out progressive side up or down. I'm gonna assume up so there's less unsprung mass. Well, we'll let her butt that way. Get this cap on top. Fits on, so that's a good sign. Alright, so that's the initial ride height. We'll torque all the wheels down, take it for a quick test drive, shakedown, and see what it looks like after it's settled. Alright, so initial impressions, I think it actually rides better than stock, but I'm getting a popping in the back left corner, so I think I maybe loaded that spring the wrong way. So I'm gonna have to pull that apart, but that's a problem for another day. But initial impressions, I like the drop. It might settle more. These were used, but I don't think the guy used them for very long because they look like brand new. But yeah, I'm gonna have to assess that spring in the back left. Whenever I unload it, so if I turn real hard to the left, I get a pop, and as I'm pulling into the garage here, I get a little bit of a pop. But swinging to the right, no pop. So I think There's like the little rubber things on the bottom and the top, and I just gotta make sure the spring is loaded into that the correct way. And then it should be ready to rock and roll. And after this, I might be doing a rear H&R sway bar. So then I'll probably have more pops and bangs. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. More Miata and GTI content. R3's coming back soon, I think. Soon.